Let the games begin.
When Gotham is ashes, you have my permission to die.
One big click of the light switch is out.
Gotham! Take control.
Olympus is falling. Olympus is falling. Just open the gates of hell.
The United States of America doesn't negotiate with terrorists.
Who said anything about negotiating?
Now we come here not as conquerors, but as liberators to return control of this city to the people.
The last Super Bowl was played right here.
Jason told me it was a classic.
Classic game. 80,000 people on their feet.
Seconds left on the clock.
Touchdown!
60 years ago, Earth was attacked. 60 years ago, Earth was attacked. We won the war, but they destroyed half the planet.
Apparently, Jacoby Jones is too electrifying, and he overcharged a transformer. That's all I can say.
Still no definitive cause as to why the power went out, but late last night, as Jeff mentioned, both Entergy and the Superdome issued a statement. In the statement, they said a piece of equipment that is designed to monitor an electrical load sensed an abnormality in the system.
See something cool?
He hid right behind our house.
Lightning doesn't strike twice.
They must be going nuts inside the control room.
It was pretty surreal to be in there, literally, as Frank said, thank you very much. He turned and boom, it went out.
Within hours of Pope Benedict announcing that he was to resign, take a look at this. Lightning struck St. Peter's Basilica. You can see it again now in slow motion.
And do you accept this man's resignation? And do you accept the resignation of all of these liars? Of all the corrupt?
Later, at an important meeting of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in Washington, D.C.
Look, what is that? A caped figure appearing from out of nowhere. It's the demoniacal Dr. Doom.
What if the president isn't the president?
You're insane.
Our government has been infiltrated.
Any and all traces of our existence is terminated.
We have to assume that there's no one we can trust.
Continuation rule 113D, sir. Sudden death! All right, brilliant! I don't believe it, folks.
New Orleans, a city of mystery. A city that 1 million people proudly call home. At least the ones above ground. Because New Orleans is also home to many beings that can't find their way back.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Everyone's been evacuated. Nothing human remains.
Theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated. But we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? Members of the League of Shadows.
And I remember right before I performed, I raised my hands up, and it was kind of the first time I felt something else come into me. Felt something else come into me.
You're going to see her eyes change to pitch black. You're going to see her facial features change. Look at her neck. It's going to look like something is coming out of her neck or coming into her neck. It's very, very satanic and very disgusting looking. It's so quick, she's morphing. her tongue. I believe we're talking about the wheat and the tares. You can see her eyes turn pitch black. Can you see that, folks? Beyonce has officially left the building. You're going to see a very evil and sinister look come on her face. You can see the hate in the eyes of this demonic entity.
So horrific were many of the faces that Beyonce manifested that her publicists told BuzzFeed that they wanted them to remove pictures that they considered unflattering to Beyonce, some of which you are seeing here. God help us to wake up to the fact that His Word declares that we are not wrestling against mere flesh and blood, but against Satan and the demonic spirit hierarchy that are hell-bent on bringing as many people to the lake of fire with them as they can.
Symbols are a language that can help us understand our past. As the saying goes, a picture says 1,000 words, but which words?
But as you zoom out, it cumulatively becomes one whole face. But I want to draw your attention to the blue in between. This is the Hoover Dam, and this is the water breaking for a female giving birth. And it represents the two halves becoming one.
You think this can last? There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne.
How do we write our own histories, personally or culturally, and thereby define ourselves? How do we penetrate years, centuries of historical distortion to find original truth?
It's a rudimentary phallus.
Quite to the point.
Yes, indeed. It's known as the blade. It represents aggression and manhood.
Sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face.
The female symbol is its exact opposite. This is called the chalice.
And the chalice resembles a cup or vessel, or more importantly, the shape of a woman's womb. No, the Grail has never been a cup. It is quite literally this ancient symbol of womanhood.
You and your friends better batten down the hatches. Because when it hits, you're all gonna wonder how you ever thought you could live so large and leave so little for the rest of us.
What about that figure on the right hand of our Lord, seated in the place of honor? Flowing red hair, folded feminine hands, hint of a bosom, huh? It's called scotoma. The mind sees what it chooses to see.
Who is she?
My dear, that's Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was Jesus' wife.
I am the servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Arnor. The dark fire will not avail you.
Notice how Jesus and Mary are clothed. Mirror images of each other.
The mind sees what it chooses to see.
And venturing into the even more bizarre, notice how Jesus and Mary appear to be joined at the hip and are leaning away from each other as if to create a shape in the negative space between them. Leonardo gives us the chalice.
Come for it. We made it. Stay in. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Notice what happens when these two figures change position.
Just because Da Vinci painted it doesn't make it true.
You know, they'll be doubling up the rate this city's inhabitants are losing their minds. This city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good. Until their spirit breaks completely. Until they get a good look at the real Harvey Dent. Huh? And all the heroic things he's done. You didn't think I'd risk losing the battle for Gotham's soul in a fistfight with you. No. You need an ace in the hole. Mine's Harvey.
What did you do?
I took Gotham's White Knight, and I brought him down to our level. It wasn't hard. See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
Okay. So Jesus had a twin brother. If Jesus is divine, is his twin divine? And if they are divine, are their children divine?
Jesus, I thought you was dead.
Half.
An almost a perfect semicircle of the lights. Half the stadium stayed light, half of it went out.
Of the Twin Towers, one must first understand the reality of the two different species growing together like twins. The parable of the wheat and the weeds in the book of Matthew illustrates the two different species growing together. The destruction of the Twin Towers was Satan's declaration that the twins were gone, and that the two had become one, as evidenced by the building of the One World Trade Center. The One World Trade Center's architecture represented an upside-down C joined together with the right-side-up C, thus forming the new race in one new body.
It was a creed written into the founding documents that declared the destiny of a nation.
Perseus, I need your help.
This is for gods, not humans.
You will learn someday that being half human makes you stronger than a god.
You have learned to bury your guilt with anger. I will teach you to confront it and to face the truth.
Theatricality and deception are powerful agents. You must become more than just a man in the mind of your opponent.
That's why I don't trust you. I'm the only hope you have.